Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Moving Markets podcast. It is Tuesday, July the 8th, 2025. Markets have been open for almost exactly a half an hour right now, and not a lot to talk about today. It's a pretty flat market, at least right now. I think the Dow Jones Industrial Average just eked into positive territory and then back out of positive territory. It's been really, really flat. It's been down as much as 50 or 60 points and then back up to about a break even. S&P, 0.8%, or actually that's 0.8%. NASDAQ up a little bit. NASDAQ did start up a little bit higher. It was up 60, 70 points at the open, and it's given up a little bit of that. So all in all, a really flat day. And really mixed. You've got Palantir down a little bit, Nvidia up a little bit, CoreWeave down a little bit, CrowdStrike up a little bit. These are some of the different companies that we're trading either in spread trades or in the triple play trades. And there's not a lot going on. There's not a lot that is driving the markets today. It's tempting a little bit to pat myself on the back. I don't know if you listened to yesterday's podcast or not, but I said after the big sell-off on the Dow yesterday and the S&P that probably the rest of the week would be flat to a little bit up, maybe into a positive week overall. But if it is, I don't think it's going to be by much, unless we get that big news on some country that's come to the table and negotiated a trade deal with the U.S. and it's going to have to be, kind of a big deal, a little fanfare made out of it. So, barring something like that happening, I think what's going on today is probably an indicator of what's going to happen for the rest of the week. I think you're just going to see kind of a blah, nothing much going on. The Dow is just literally. Sorry, you lost audio there for a moment. My phone or my computer, my microphone on my desk wanted to switch the audio to my iPhone. I usually turn my iPhone off when I'm doing the podcast, so I forgot to do that. And I got a little bar popped up that said it wanted to switch that. So anyway, what I was saying before I got the little audio issue, the Dow has suddenly taken a little bit more of a dip just in literally just in the handful of minutes that I've been on. I haven't even been on 4 full minutes yet. And suddenly the Dow is down almost 100 and the NASDAQ is barely hanging on to positive territory. I'm unaware if there's some breaking news right now that is going on that's causing things to dip a little bit, or if this is just part of the regular early market back and forth. I'm not sure which it is. On the computer here, you can see, and you can't see it. Wow, all sorts of technical issues this morning. I am very sorry about that. I lose audio for a second, and then we lose the picture for a minute. But you can see here the Dow down a little over 100 points, and on my TV that sits in front of my desk, it's a little bit less than that, but these are not too far off of each other. And the NASDAQ just barely holding on to positive territory. So like I said, I'm not sure if there's just some news that is breaking right now that's causing a little more sell-off or not. But again, even 100 points down is less than 0.25%, kind of a blasé day. So without a lot to discuss today, let me just say my new spread trade on CoreWeave did fill this morning. These are the fill prices that I got in at, so it's already up. Well, this hasn't been refreshed for a minute. It's probably down a little bit because CoreWeave is down a few dollars. And then the CoreWeave collar trade also filled this morning, so I'm into the collar trade now as well. I'm not sure why that shows. Well, it's down a few dollars on a few hundred shares, so maybe that's why. I'll refresh that because the puts have probably already gone up a little bit in value. But for the rest of this week, I think you're going to get more of the same of what we're getting today. I think you might see the markets up a little bit or down a little bit, no more than a quarter to 0.5% in either direction unless we get one of those trade deals come through. And I think that's just what to expect for the rest of this week. I think I gave enough explanation in yesterday's podcast. If you didn't already listen to that and you want a little bit more explanation as to the CoreWeave spread trade and or the CoreWeave collar trade, just make sure you go back and listen to yesterday's podcast, and that'll give you a little more detail on, the why we're doing what we're doing on those ones. Otherwise, I think. Let me comment a little bit on triple place. So I'm in the Taiwan Semiconductor trade. I mentioned that in yesterday's podcast. I'm in the CoreWeave. We got in and got out in the same day with some really nice profit, 35% profit. But the CrowdStrike trade that we sent out, an in-the-money bull call spread on CrowdStrike, has not filled. It did not fill yesterday, but I put that trade back in place. So I still have the 495 short call, 490 short call, 485 long call. I set a limit order for 375. It's way off of that right now. The mid price is 440, but if CrowdStrike gives up a little bit of what it's gained, it's up $1.94 today. If it gives up a little bit, that trade could still fill. So I'm going to leave that one in place for the day and see if CrowdStrike comes back a little bit and if we get filled. Our regular spread trade in CrowdStrike is looking really good. A little more upward movement, and that one will be nicely profitable, and we'll be sitting in a good spot on that. But overall, things are good right now. Our returns are fantastic. I feel like I'm just kind of rambling on just for the sake of filling space. I would rather do a short podcast and not bore you with a lot of rambling. Everything is looking good right now. If there are any adjustments to be, I should comment a little bit on Amazon. We still have a spread trade open on Amazon. Amazon's down a little bit today, but I think it's just kind of the buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. Prime Day started today, and I think people are just kind of holding back on Amazon a little bit, maybe repositioning a little bit, kind of in anticipation for what numbers get reported. I think Prime Day for Amazon goes on today through the end of the week, through Friday. My wife has a short list of things for me to pick up or to order once they go on sale today at a better deal than what we were seeing the previous couple of days. But not a worry. Our trade still looks good. Because they're so much nearer term, the short calls are actually losing very nicely right now, which is a good thing relative to our overall trade. So I'm going to let this refresh for just a second, and I know I lost the screen for a split second again and tried to get it back right away. But I still think Amazon's going to go up a little farther. We were up 11%, now we're up 9%. I think we could still get 15 to 20% out of this trade. And I think after some prime numbers are reported, I think that's in fact what will happen and what we'll end up doing. So watch for possible adjustments tonight, but I think it's unlikely. I don't expect to send out any adjustments for callers or spread trades today unless something really dramatically turns and goes kind of haywire on us. Dow down a little bit farther. That's the deepest it's been down, and the NASDAQ into negative territory, but by such a little teeny tiny percent, I would say it's, for all intents and purposes, it's very flat right now. We'll see if this sell-off accelerates a little bit, or if we're seeing as much, seeing it as bad as it's going to get, and then we'll have more to talk about tomorrow morning. So I'm going to wrap up right there. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.